Okay, right?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Good afternoon, Elizabeth. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Sam. Good, and you?
I am doing great. So I've got your resume here in front of me, and you have an extremely impressive background. So why don't you start by telling me a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing most recently in your career?
Sure. So most recently, I've been working with the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, and I've been overseeing their leadership programs, specifically the Leadership Miami program. I started July of last year, and I worked with the committee on restructuring and completely redeveloping the program. We shortened it to about between 5 and 6 months, and we're running it twice a year. We implemented an application process, not just for the participants, but also for nonprofits to partner for community projects for the teams.
Great.
And we also partnered with 6 local universities to teach the leadership curriculum. So
Yes.
that's what I've been working on uh, over the last year and couple months.
All right. Fantastic. And in your current role, what computer software programs would you feel like you're the most proficient in using?
We mostly use Microsoft Office,
Okay.
so the entire Office suite, uh, Teams also, Zoom, of course. Given the last few years, I think everybody's fluent in Zoom.
Absolutely.
And what I've been using most recently is Google Suite.
Okay, fantastic. And I know that you mentioned that you are using the Microsoft Office suite. What would you rate your level of experience with Excel?
Uh, 8 on a
Okay.
scale of 1 to 10.
All right, fantastic. All right, so tell me maybe one of the highlights of your career thus far.
I think graduating the first class under the new program is definitely a highlight. It was no small undertaking. It was months of planning and partnerships, like I mentioned, with the universities and with our executive planning committee. And we successfully graduated 50 participants, which
Wow.
is no small feat for the first class. So moving forward, that is the goal that they set, to have the classes small, to make the program more intimate, and then that way the participants could get to know each other. Uh, and not just graduating the first class, but also successfully recruiting enough participants to select another 50 for the current class.
Fantastic. I love it. Now, if you weren't sitting here with me today and I was chatting with one of your past supervisors, how do you think they would describe your work habits?
Sure. I think she would definitely say that I'm reliable, that I'm a team player. Um, Working in the nonprofit space, you don't always have that many team members.
Yeah.
So we definitely work cohesively. We're there for each other's programs and events and programs. So I think they know that they can count on me, and vice versa. So dependable, reliable, team player.
Fantastic. All right. So sometimes at work, things might not go as planned. So tell me about a time maybe something went a little bit awry and how you overcame that obstacle.
Sure, that's something that has kind of become the norm, whether it's that we don't have a venue or last minute there's a tropical storm, which did happen in June. But I think if we've learned anything over the last couple of years with COVID, is that we have to be flexible and resilient, and just kind of like roll with the punches. So for the tropical storm, we ended up, I'm going to say the word that everybody hates to say, but pivoting and having the event virtually, so that we could continue the program for that one specifically. And then most recently, even with just the venue for our opening conference for this new class, where we thought we were going to be able to have it was under construction, because it was a university and it's their anniversary year. So we're fortunate enough that we do have other partners, and we reached out to them to see who would be available to host us. And in the end, it all worked out for the smaller class size. So that's
Fantastic.
something that
And I love what you said. I loved about how you mentioned being flexible and resilient, because I think that's very important when you are dealing with things that may have caught you by surprise for sure. Now,
absolutely.
what would you say is the most important thing to you about the next company that you work for?
I think having that team camaraderie and
Okay.
having a good group to work with. I think also the work-life balance and just like schedule flexibility. Um, because of the nature of the program, and this specifically, right? Like my participants all have full-time jobs. So I've had to make myself available very early in the morning or later on in the evenings, and then sometimes on weekends. But I think because of that, there is that flexibility, right? Like they know that they can reach me by email on my cell phone and vice versa. But then you do have that flexibility of working from home or going into the office or having that team support for when you need it.
Fantastic. Elizabeth, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and chat with you a little bit more if that sounds good. Thank you
Yeah,
so
of course.
much.